So The Wild Robot, it's DreamWorks' last in-house animated film. Everything going forward is now going to be outsourced. I think it's sad, end of an era. But the question is, with The Wild Robot, are they going to go out with a bang or fade away in a whimper? I want to answer that in this video.
Sometimes, to survive, we must become more than we were programmed to be.
The Wild Robot. After a shipwreck, an intelligent robot called Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for an orphan baby goose. So yeah, first let's talk about the animation, right? Because obviously, it's an animated film. I think animation's its own medium. A medium I'm honestly don't really obsess over as much as I do like live action film, but it's a medium nonetheless with its own rules of how to tell a story. And from what I can tell, I think Wild Robot excels in that. The use of colors and interesting textures and lighting, it's just each frame and shot is so beautiful to look at in this film. I think it also does serve its purpose in telling the story, whether it's visual humor or delivering some more somber, sadder moments, or even like intense action sequences. It all shows that like, yeah, this is a film that can only be told in the animation medium, and I think that this film actually deserves an Oscar for Best Animated Film, because I think it's the best one I've seen this year. The performances all around were really good. Also, Ving Rhames was in this, Mark Hamill. I did not recognize them in this film, which I guess shows you their talents, right? If you can recognize their voice performances. But I think everyone was good in this film. No weak points or links. But with those aspects aside, right, the amazing animation and great voice performances, the thing I really want to focus on in this film is really, what surprised me was how it handles sort of topics for a kid's film. Wild Robot feels like something more I used to grow up with in terms of kids' films like Iron Giants or Babe, for example, where, yes, it's funny, it's very family-friendly, wholesome, but it does talk about heavy topics for a kids' film that you wouldn't expect, but does so in a graceful way, and where it doesn't insult the audience's intelligence, much less, and more importantly, the emotional intelligence of children. Because The Wild Robot takes place on an island in the wild with all these animals, predator and prey, I think in a very graceful way, without crossing the line where it becomes traumatic. It really shows how nature can be very cruel and random at times. Even the story in this film, right? It's about Roz, the robot who adopts a baby goose. His family dies in an accident. I won't say anything more of that. It's kind of like it's a little spoiler thing, but I think it really handles these heavy topics well in a way that I think a kid can understand it, conceptualize it, learn from it, but without going overboard that it's traumatizing, obviously. And that's what gets to the themes of the film, like themes I thought were really interesting in this film that I enjoyed, I thought were executed really well. Obviously the film is about motherhood, you get that from the trailer right away, but it's a little deeper than that. It's more so about, do we listen to our instincts, our base passions, versus our higher reasoning or rational soul, whichever you want to call it. Because the film makes a lot of references to that, about like following their nature or their programming, right? The Fox character in this film. He's a liar, he's a jerk to everybody. He tries to excuse it and pass it off as like, well, that's just his nature, what can you do about it? And same for Roz, right? Roz has kind of a conflict in this film where she has to choose between leaving to the factory, abandoning the animals, abandoning this baby goose named Bright Bill to the wolves, or does she override her programming and take care of this as her own, as her mother? Should we listen to our instincts, our base passions, which is very easy to do, or do we take the higher route, or harder in many cases, with our rational soul, our higher reasoning to do what may be better or more right, even if it's harder? And that's played a lot in this film. I thought that was really executed well. Now, if I do have to give a critique of the film, I think just kind of the pacing of the movie. It's an hour and a half. I wouldn't have minded if the movie was actually a little bit longer, because we kind of skip from Roz raising Bright Bill as a baby to then him as like an adult or an adolescent. But it quickly goes right into the conflict of like them being two different things, and questioning his adoption, and also Roz overriding your programming to be more like a mother and have feelings. I feel like these were a lot of things that just kind of happen off screen, and I would have liked to have seen that process more gradually, visually, and then get into the conflict. But instead, the way the film plays out, it kind of just skips right to it very abruptly. I'm being nitpicky. I still enjoy the movie. I just, if I had to give it a critique, it would be that. But overall, The Wild Robot, amazing animation, great performances. I think really nicely handled themes and topics with a lot of levity that a lot of kids' films I think are afraid of handling. And because of that, I think Wild Robot is DreamWorks going out with a bang on this one. I want to give Wild Robot 4 stars out of 5.
Sometimes, to survive, we must become more than we were programmed to be. I will protect all of you.
You are ordered to return home.
I am already home, and I am a wild robot.
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of The Wild Robot. If you have seen it or you plan on seeing it. Also, tell me, what's your favorite DreamWorks animated film? Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.